If there were only two words to describe Ubisoft games, they'd be missed potential, and none of their games highlight this more clearly than the Far Cry spin-off games Primal and New Dawn. See, the narrative quality, gameplay loop, and map design of the Far Cry series is pretty formulaic. If you've played basically any modern Ubisoft title, you have a good idea of what to expect just in first person. The collectible checklist, the outpost checklist, the villain checklist, you know, Ubisoft open worlds. Well, Primal and New Dawn take these familiar elements of the franchise and place it in unique settings you wouldn't normally see in the series. Kind of like the classic Blood Dragon standalone expansion for Far Cry 3. Primal puts you in prehistoric times, complete with mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, while New Dawn is set after the ending of Far Cry 5 and introduced RPG mechanics in a very colorful post-apocalyptic map. Devs worked to make sure these maps really fit the theme of each game, with Primal's being a grittier and more prehistoric reskin of Far Cry 4's map, while New Dawn chose to reuse Far Cry 5's map completely with a much more vibrant color palette than the previous version. And both of these games saw massive criticism for these choices. Primal criticism touched on the departure from a modern setting, the narrative shortcomings of a game set before the creation of modern language,
Tarzan.
But focused on the reskinned map, leading to the game not feeling like a unique experience. New Dawn criticism kind of touched on the RPG elements feeling out of place, but focused on the shorter campaign and reused map and assets, making the game feel more like a DLC. And I think these criticisms highlight the same basic problem in both games, and the much bigger problem that I've pointed out in the past about other Ubisoft titles. It feels like the devs weren't able to go far enough with these concepts to make them something truly unique, due to the need for it to be overly familiar to the other games. They almost feel like they weren't intended by the devs to be Far Cry games, but were forced to be by the higher-ups. That familiarity is exactly where the spin-off criticism was focused, and continues to be focused with most new Ubisoft titles. Take Blood Dragon, for example. But first, if you're enjoying the video so far, or hate everything I said, hit that like or dislike button, leave a comment down below, and consider hitting subscribe. Like I said earlier, it did a similar thing. While the others were being criticized for feeling like DLCs instead of standalones, Blood Dragon has succeeded as a standalone experience while starting as a literal DLC for Far Cry 3. Why? Because it allowed itself to embrace the new theme entirely. Primal and New Dawn were both held back by some of the very things that made Blood Dragon great, while lacking some of the important and wacky elements that set it apart and made it memorable. Despite being prehistoric, Primal was set after the fall of the dinosaurs. Despite being post-apocalyptic, New Dawn featured no mutated monsters. Blood Dragon kind of included both, with their iconic, well, blood dragons, which were these badass mutated dinosaur-looking things that shot lasers from their eyes. Yeah, that's fucking metal. It had all the same basic points that the other spin-offs were criticized for. The narrative was short, the gameplay wasn't a huge departure, and the map was actually just a very small section of the Far Cry 3 map, and yet none of these things were really criticized because the game embraced the 80s apocalyptic cyberpunk setting entirely. This allowed it to deliver a truly unique experience in a series that has grown more and more formulaic from a studio continuously being sabotaged by their management. So what's next? Well, with the map of Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 all being reused to some degree or entirely, it's safe to say the next spin-off game, if there is a next spin-off game, will also reuse the map from 6 with a new aesthetic with familiar gameplay elements. And they really need to lean into whatever it is they choose to do to make it feel like a standalone experience. Stop trying to force it to be Far Cry and let it be what it is, a spin-off. If you're going apocalyptic, give us the apocalyptic game that we expect from Far Cry. Mad Max meets Fallout with a dash of Metro. If you're going prehistoric, give us the fucking dinosaurs that we've been asking for ever since they pretty much stopped appearing in AAA games entirely. And if you go futuristic, give us the action set-piece filled cyberpunk game we deserve. Or call back to classic video games and do it all and embrace the absurdity of riding cyborg dinosaurs into battle against mutant military factions. This is a video game after all. Let it be a video game first and a grounded Far Cry title second, or preferably not at all. It is a video game after all. This seems to be the key component that Ubisoft suits have lost sight of. Video games first, branding second, and it's exhausting. People cite classic Ubisoft games and DLC when talking about the golden age of gaming for a reason. Ubisoft used to be a leading player in unique game ideas and evolution of those ideas. This is what set Blood Dragon apart from the others. To ensure the game felt more authentic to the setting, the devs held weekly movie nights where they watched classic sci-fi movies. They also said the game was designed to be ridiculous, fun, stupid, and honest, and hoped to capture the feeling of playing with action figures as a kid. And most people would probably say they succeeded. And none of this kind of care seems to have made it into Primal or New Dawn or really anything from Ubisoft in the past, decade? Though the future for Ubisoft does seem potentially not shit. With a Splinter Cell remake in the works, a major gameplay overhaul rumored for the upcoming Assassin's Creed Hexe, and rumors of a first-person milsim-inspired Ghost Recon, this could be the turning point for Ubisoft's downward trend. Or this could be the ramp they hit before falling straight to the bottom. Only time will tell. Ubisoft continues to stifle innovation, experimentation, and creativity in their endless pursuit to play it safe. If the suits would just step back and let the talented developers do the job they were hired to do, I'm confident they could put out some truly unique experiences for fans. And that's pretty much all I've got. If you enjoyed the video, hit like and leave a comment down below, and while you're at it, maybe subscribe to feed my ego and make sure you don't miss any future videos. Peace.